Now, sometimes when we travel from one city to another, from one continent to another, going back and forth to Africa, that biological clock shifts, and it's hard for us to adjust. So for those brothers and sisters that sleep with the TV on, they're wreaking havoc on their system. When you're in bed sleep, it's very important that you don't have any light in your environment.
Hey, call me Louis. This is my spot. LuiSpot.
What is the function of melatonin? The brother mentioned the first function, that is, it boosts our memory. It helps us to remember things. It is actually responsible for dream sleep, and they call it rapid eye movement sleep. So we say responsible for dream sleep. And a lot of times, this is where we get the solutions to some of our problems in the dreams. Okay, we all know. It organizes our system. This is a powerful organizer. It organizes our biological, mental, and spiritual system. It's very powerful in terms of organizing. And it also slows. So, as I stated before, they're getting this in artificial terms, all right? So, once we get to bed at the proper time, and that is before 12 midnight, for some reason or another, the Creator says 12 midnight is the cutoff point. If you get to bed before 12 midnight, you produce more melatonin. If you get to bed after 12 midnight, that drastically decreases the amount of melatonin in the bloodstream. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
How much does the fact that it just gets started at midnight, how much does midnight basketball got to do with that?
Okay.
I'm saying basketball at midnight is important for young black males.
Well, first of all, they want to get the young brothers off the street. And they know basketball, they love basketball. But midnight basketball, I mean, actually what you're doing is you're messing up that balance.
Not all of that.
You're shutting down your melatonin. And when I finish this, I'm going to write a graph so you can see how much, approximately how much is produced at each time period. Okay. Okay, so now it slows down aging. It strengthens your immune system, which means that it's very important for the cure of AIDS. So if you have AIDS, it's real important for you to get the proper rest, because that's where you get that strengthening melatonin. So we say it strengthens the immune system. Okay? It puts us in a pleasant mood. Some of my students that I would give this information to in class, they would have the saying, melatonin makes you mellow. Okay? So we say that it puts you in a good mood. And the next thing it does is it resets the biological clock. Now, sometimes when we travel from one city to another, from one continent to another, going back and forth to Africa, that biological clock shifts, and it's hard for us to adjust. So what melatonin does is it puts that biological clock back into the correct phase. It helps us to adjust to our new environment, and this is real important for those that travel. So it helps us to reset or adjust the biological clock. Now I want to write this graph so you can see graphically what happens to melatonin at a particular hour, at each hour. Okay. Let's see if I can find, here we go. Okay. Now we'll call this graph melatonin's path. And I'll save myself some writing. The path of melatonin. Let's say we have a graph. On this line, we have the amount of melatonin that's being produced in milligrams. Okay? mg stands for milligrams, okay? Then over here, we have the time that the melatonin is being produced. So let's say at 9 o'clock, here we've got, and this is PM, okay? 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock, midnight, and 1 o'clock a.m., 2 o'clock. Let me write this better. 3 o'clock, 4, and dawn, 5 o'clock. Okay? This is the PM, and over here is the AM. Okay? Now, let's take a look at approximately the values or how much is produced. Over here, let's put some numbers. Let's say this is 0, star graph at 0. Okay? Then we'll go 5, 10, 15, by increments of 5, and 20. Okay? Now, we say approximately this much is produced at 9 o'clock p.m. At 10, we get about this amount in milligrams of melatonin being put out in the bloodstream. Okay? At 11 o'clock, say we get about this amount. Now at 12 o'clock, the scientists tell us that there's a big increase, in melatonin that's being put out in the bloodstream. Now after midnight, going towards dawn, then the melatonin begins to decrease. And this is why I say it has an inverse relationship with serotonin. Let's say 5 o'clock, we're down here. About down here. So at 9 at night, especially in the summer, we're saying this is summer. At 9 at night, this is when it starts getting dark. We see the melatonin increasing in the bloodstream. Then as darkness comes, we get more melatonin. At 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, then at 12 o'clock, there's a big increase. Perhaps this is why they say that we should be in bed by 12 midnight, because you get most of your melatonin at that time. And then after 12 midnight, then it starts going down. Now, when you're in bed sleep, it's very important that you don't have any light in your environment, because once there's darkness, as soon as your eyes perceive light, that melatonin starts to decrease. So for those brothers and sisters that sleep with the TV on, they're wreaking havoc on their system. Okay? Or for their children to sleep with the TV on, and I've seen people sleep with the TV on all night long, they're wreaking havoc on their system. Someone over here had a question. Yes?
So not just sunlight, but any light, like from a light bulb?
Light, yes, from a street light, a light bulb. Once you're in bed sleep, once it's night, and you're in bed sleep, as soon as your eyes, as soon as that pineal eye senses light, then that melatonin shuts down.
You just sleep with a thing over your eyes? Like
some people do, yeah. Some people sleep with those, what do you call it, blinders, whatever it is, over their eyes.
The light that hits the pineal gland is coming from the eyes. That's how it reaches it, through the eyes.
Yeah, it reaches it through the eyes. And I had another diagram, I think.
How about moonlight?
That's light. As soon as that eye produces, as soon as the eye perceives any kind of light at night, then that's a signal to shut down.
So we should be sleeping in a totally dark room.
Yes, yes,
Pitch black room.
yes, ma'am. That is correct. See, this is, and as much as we all love the sister Phyllis Hyman, this is one of the problems that she had. She had a problem with manic depression. I came to find out that when I had done some reading on her, some research and some interviews that people had done, she started her career in 1977. She made a decision to get into that lifestyle where she stayed up all night and she would sleep during the day. She even talked about that in some of her songs. And she kept that lifestyle for 17 to 18 years. And scientists have found now that once you start having a decrease in melatonin, you suffer from depression. If you produce too little melatonin at night or too much melatonin during the wrong period of time during daylight hours, you're going to start suffering from depression and mental problems. You're going to have problems with your judgment. This is why, like I said, with brothers and sisters that work that midnight shift, they have to be very careful to get those green raw vegetables, because those green raw vegetables feed the inner eye. They give it that chlorophyll. That's the plant melanin.
Now, that sums it up for this video. What do you guys think? Share thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Let's have a proper discussion about this without having me impose my opinions and ideas on this matter. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, so that the YouTube algorithm can know that this video was so much interesting and share it far wide to more avid viewers just like you. Subscribe and click the notification bell if this is your first time watching these videos, and so that you can be notified as soon as we make a new upload on videos just like this. My name is Louis. Until next time, peace out.